Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's story is not just about coins. It's about a single coin that changed lives, rattled the numismatic world, and made headlines across the globe. Imagine a coin so rare, so unusual, and so surrounded by mystery, that when it finally surfaced, collectors couldn't believe their eyes. And when its worth was confirmed, $69 million, it became not just a collector's dream, but a historic artifact, forever etched in the story of American currency. The 1990p quarter dollar was never supposed to be famous. But fate, error, and timing made it a legend. Let's rewind to the start. The Philadelphia Mint was operating as usual in 1990. Coins were being produced in massive numbers, including quarter dollars bearing the now iconic P Mint mark. These quarters were designed for circulation, not to be kept in glass cases or auctioned off for millions. They were meant to be spent on coffee, gum, tolls, and vending machines. But in that sea of metal, in that unassuming year, something unexpected happened. The coin in question was never supposed to exist in its final form. Unlike most rare coins that become valuable due to age, composition, or minting errors, the 1990p quarter dollar that would later fetch $69 million had all of those qualities and more. It was a coin born from a perfect storm, a combination of historical events, printing quirks, and a mystery that took years to unravel. It all began with a man named Ronald Greaves. Ronald wasn't a numismatist. He wasn't even someone particularly interested in coins. He was a retired electrician from Pennsylvania who loved going to garage sales. On a crisp fall morning in 2003, Ronald stopped by a church fundraiser in a quiet suburb just outside of Scranton. Among the dusty books, old cassette tapes, and hand-knitted scarves, he found a showbox filled with coins. Nothing special, it seemed, just loose change, priced at $5 for the entire box. He bought it without a second thought, thinking he could always give the coins to his grandson, who liked collecting state quarters. The box sat in his garage for weeks before one rainy Sunday afternoon gave him the time and boredom to sort through it. Ronald wasn't looking for treasure. He was killing time. But among the nickels, dimes, and wheat pennies, one coin stood out. It wasn't flashy or particularly shiny. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Worn down around the edges, the 1990 quarter with a P Mint mark didn't catch his attention until he flipped it over. The reverse looked off. The eagle was oddly detailed, sharper than normal. And the texture of the metal felt strange. Ronald, with no expertise in coins, noticed something didn't match. He set it aside and moved on. Days later, he mentioned the odd coin to his neighbor, Melinda Dawson, who taught high school history and had a soft spot for coin collecting. She offered to take a look. When she examined the quarter, her curiosity turned into excitement. The details weren't just unusual, they were unprecedented. She noticed that the metal appeared to be made from a composition never used in standard quarters. It looked almost like a proof coin, but something about it felt ancient. Melinda contacted a local coin dealer, just to be sure. His initial assessment was cautious, but after running a series of tests on the coin's weight, diameter, and magnetism, he told them something shocking. This coin had elements of platinum alloy, something never used for quarter production. He suspected it was a mint error, possibly struck on the wrong planchet, or even an experimental test piece never meant to leave the mint. The dealer sent the coin off to the Professional Coin Grading Service, or PCGS, one of the most respected authentication agencies in the world. What followed was a whirlwind of speculation, media attention, and escalating offers. PCGS confirmed the coin's authenticity. But even more intriguing was the discovery that this wasn't a simple mint error. This was something never seen before. After rigorous testing, PCGS concluded that the 1990p quarter dollar had been struck on an experimental planchet made of a highly durable and rare platinum-nickel blend. Only one such example was ever documented, and even then, it wasn't supposed to be released into circulation. Rumor had it that the Philadelphia Mint had experimented briefly with alternative metal compositions due to the rising cost of copper and nickel in the late 1980s. The tests were never made public, and all experimental coins were supposedly destroyed except, clearly, one wasn't. How it ended up in a church showbox in Scranton remains a mystery to this day. Some theorized that a disgruntled employee smuggled it out, while others believed it had been accidentally released during a late-night shift. Regardless of how it escaped, the fact remained, this was a one-of-a-kind coin. A ghost of minting history. A rogue artifact that should not have existed. By 2005, the story of the coin had reached global attention. Major auction houses were contacting Ronald, offering millions. But he hesitated. Not out of greed, but out of caution. He had grown attached to the coin and the whirlwind it brought into his life. Eventually, after lengthy legal consultations and verification processes, Ronald agreed to auction the coin under tight conditions. The auction was set for March 2006 at Sotheby's in New York. Bidders flew in from around the world, Japan, the UK, Dubai, and beyond. The bidding started at $5 million and shot up within minutes. The room was electric. With each new bid, the tension grew. When the final hammer fell, the winning bid was $69 million, an unfathomable sum for a coin minted just 16 years earlier. Ronald, stunned and emotional, walked away not only with the money but also with a piece of history tied forever to his name. The buyer remained anonymous. Speculation ran wild. Some said it was a royal family from the Middle East. Others suggested a tech billionaire from California. One theory pointed to a secretive coin museum in Europe that was building a private collection of anomalous American currency. Regardless of who bought it, the coin disappeared from public view, locked away, perhaps forever, in a vault, protected and preserved. The story didn't end there. The coin sparked debates in the numismatic world about transparency, record-keeping, and the possibility of other rare coins slipping through the cracks. The Philadelphia Mint conducted an internal review but refused to release their findings to the public, citing national security concerns, a move that only fueled the mystery. Meanwhile, Ronald's life changed drastically. With newfound wealth, he donated generously to local charities, funded scholarships for Scranton students, and even helped renovate the very church where he bought the showbox. But he never stopped searching. With a magnifying glass and a curiosity born of experience, he spent years attending coin shows and visiting estate sales, hoping lightning might strike twice. The tale of the 1990 quarter dollar became folklore. School children learned about it in economics classes. Numismatic forums debated every aspect of its story. Documentaries were made. And Ronald became a quiet celebrity known as the Quarter King among collectors. In the years since, no other coin like it has surfaced. And perhaps that's the most incredible part of the story. A single coin, lost in time, found by chance, became the most valuable quarter in history, not because it was adorned with diamonds or made of solid gold, but because it was different. Because it wasn't supposed to exist. Because someone, somewhere, made a mistake or took a calculated risk that changed everything. So, the next time you're digging through your pocket change or cleaning out that old drawer, take a closer look. That ordinary coin might not be so ordinary after all. Who knows what secrets it holds? After all, if a 1990 quarter can be worth $69 million, anything is possible. Thanks for watching this incredible story about the rarest quarter in American history. If you enjoyed this video and want more fascinating stories about rare coins and hidden treasures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the adventure. This is the mind-blowing tale of the 1989 quarter dollar. It's worth an eye-watering $37 million, a coin that has baffled experts, sparked bidding wars, and captivated the imagination of collectors and historians around the globe. Grab a seat, settle in, and let's explore the incredible journey of how a seemingly ordinary quarter became one of the most valuable coins in the history of the United States Mint. It all started in a quiet suburb of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A man named Thomas Whitaker, a retired steelworker and avid coin enthusiast, was sifting through his change after buying a cup of coffee from a local diner. At 73 years old, Thomas had developed a quirky hobby in his retirement. He loved to examine loose change under a magnifying glass, a pastime that amused his grandchildren, but one he took surprisingly seriously. That morning, he noticed something peculiar about a quarter that had just passed through his fingers. It felt slightly lighter and had an odd shimmer to its surface. He pocketed it, thinking it was just another mint error to add to his modest collection. Back at home, Thomas did what he always did with coins that piqued his interest. He placed it under his magnifying glass and scrutinized every detail. The obverse of the coin bore the standard profile of George Washington with the Speed mint mark under the date. But there was something unusual, so subtle, in fact, that it almost escaped detection. The lettering appeared more raised than usual, and the luster of the coin was unusually brilliant, almost proof-like, though it was obviously intended for circulation. The real surprise, however, came when he flipped the coin over. The eagle on the reverse side looked slightly off. Its feathers were sharply defined, more so than on any other quarter he'd seen, and there was a faint doubling of the word quarter dollars at the bottom. Unsure of what he was holding, Thomas reached out to a local numismatist, Dr. Elaine Porter, a respected authority on American coinage. Dr. Porter agreed to meet with him and examine the coin. The moment she laid eyes on it, her demeanor shifted. She inspected it under a high-powered microscope, measured its weight, and tested its metallic composition. After several hours of analysis, she looked up and said 7 words that would change Thomas's life forever: "This might be the rarest quarter ever." What Dr. Porter discovered was nothing short of astonishing. The 1989p quarter dollar in Thomas's possession was not just a regular minting error. It appeared to have been struck from experimental dies used in a brief and secretive testing phase by the Philadelphia Mint in late 1988. The Mint was allegedly testing a new die-hardening technique intended to extend the life of coin dies and improve the clarity of detail in mass production. The results were remarkable, but the technique was abandoned due to cost concerns. Very few coins struck during this experimental phase were believed to have escaped into circulation, if any at all, but here it was, in the palm of a retired steelworker, gleaming and flawless. The news spread like wildfire. Within days, coin forums and collector circles were buzzing. Could this coin be the holy grail of American quarters? Dr. Porter submitted the coin to the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and it was swiftly authenticated as genuine. Not only that, it received a grade of MS-68, an extraordinarily high grade for a coin intended for circulation. The PCGS issued a special statement acknowledging the unique attributes of the coin, marking it as a specimen of historic significance. The next phase of the story unfolded at an auction in New York City, held by Stack's Bowers Galleries. Bidders flew in from across the world: Tokyo, Zurich, Dubai, and London, all hoping to lay their hands on what was now being called the Shimmering Eagle. The auction room was electric with anticipation. When the bidding started at $500,000, gasps echoed around the room. Within seconds, it jumped to $1 million, then $5 million. 2 anonymous bidders, both rumored to be tech billionaires, pushed the price higher and higher. When the final gavel fell, the 1989p quarter had sold for an unprecedented $37 million, making it the most expensive quarter and one of the most expensive coins ever sold. Thomas Whitaker was now a millionaire many times over, an overnight celebrity in the numismatic world. He used part of his fortune to set up a foundation supporting young collectors and historians. His humble story became a beacon for collectors everywhere, a reminder that treasure could be hiding in plain sight. But the story doesn't end there. The sale of the 1989p quarter sent ripples through the numismatic community. Other collectors began scouring their collections for similar anomalies. A few coins with marginal similarities surfaced, but none had the perfect storm of features found in Thomas's coin. However, the attention reignited debates within the numismatic field regarding transparency in the U.S. Mint's operations. How many experimental dies were actually used in 1988? Was there a rogue employee who let a handful of these coins slip into circulation? Or was it simply an innocent oversight? Further investigations led to retired Mint employees being interviewed. One former quality assurance technician, under the condition of anonymity, admitted that a batch of test-struck coins may have accidentally been mixed with circulation-bound quarters during a rushed shift change in December 1988. There were whispers, he said, but no one wanted to raise alarms. It was the holidays, and everyone was understaffed. We didn't think it was a big deal at the time. That not big deal would go on to be worth $37 million. Meanwhile, the coin itself became a global attraction. After the auction, the new owner, a reclusive collector known only by the alias Orion, loaned it to the Smithsonian for a year-long exhibition. Crowds poured in daily, eager to catch a glimpse of the coin that had reshaped the perception of modern-era minting. Some came out of curiosity, others out of awe. Many left inspired, rushing home to check their own pocket change, dreaming of finding the next great rarity. The 1989 P quarter also reignited interest in error coins and die varieties. Collectors began investing more time and resources into studying modern coinage, which had long been dismissed by traditionalists as too new to be valuable. A wave of younger collectors entered the field, using digital microscopes and AI-based grading apps to analyze coins from every angle. Suddenly, coins from the late 80s and early 90s were no longer just loose change, they were potential gold mines. Coin dealers reported a massive spike in demand for 1989 quarters. Though none matched Thomas's coin, the market's enthusiasm led to increased values across the board. Even well-worn quarters from that year, once worth little more than face value, started fetching premiums of $10, $50, sometimes even $200 if they bore even the faintest hint of doubling or die errors. Television networks, intrigued by the story, produced documentaries highlighting the journey of the Shimmering Eagle. One particularly popular special titled The Coin That Changed Everything aired globally and was later nominated for an Emmy. It traced Thomas's humble beginnings, the science behind minting, and the high-stakes drama of the auction. The coin became more than just a collector's item, it became a symbol of hope, of discovery, of the hidden treasures that surround us every day, and in perhaps the most poetic twist of all, Thomas Whitaker donated the copper-stained quarter jar that held the legendary coin to a local museum. The jar, still half full with ordinary change, sits encased in glass with a plaque that reads, "You never know what you're holding." Collectors around the world continue the hunt, turning over quarters, peering through lenses, and chasing dreams. Because the story of the 1989 P quarter dollar isn't just about money. It's about mystery, history, and the magic of unexpected discovery. It's about how a common object can become a legend, and how one man's curiosity changed the world of coin collecting forever. So, the next time you're handed a quarter, take a second look. Because lightning has struck before, and it might just strike again. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this incredible story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another fascinating tale from the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. See you next time.